They called him Scarface, Al Capone. The very name sends chills down the spine of anyone who knows their history. But what if I told you that behind the legend was a story just as twisted as any crime novel? Settle in, because I'm about to pull back the curtain on the rise and fall of America's most infamous gangster. Capone's story begins in Brooklyn, New York, back in 1899, born to humble Italian immigrants. Young Al was no stranger to trouble. By his teens, he'd bounced between street gangs, learning the art of survival and intimidation. He picked up that famous facial scar during a bar fight. But the real action, that was waiting for him in Chicago. Capone arrived in the Windy City during the wild days of Prohibition. Alcohol was illegal, but demand was higher than ever. Capone saw opportunity. He started off as Johnny Torrio's right-hand man, running brothels and speakeasies. When Torrio retired, Capone took over and business boomed. Let's get one thing straight. Capone wasn't just a thug. He ran his empire like a business. Bootlegging, gambling, racketeering, you name it, he had a piece of the action. His network was vast, and his reach extended from city officials to the average Joe on the street. Violence was part of the package. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre in 1929? That was Capone sending a message to his rivals that crossing him meant certain death. But here's the thing about empires built on crime. They're never as secure as they seem. The feds couldn't pin him for murder, but they had a new weapon taxes. While Capone flaunted his wealth, the government quietly gathered evidence. They hit him where it hurt, his wallet. In 1931, Capone was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in Alcatraz, the notorious island prison. His health declined behind bars, and by the time he was released, the empire he'd built had crumbled. The world had moved on. Capone, the man who'd once ruled Chicago, died quietly in 1947, just a shadow of his former self. So, what's the real legacy of Al Capone? Some call him a ruthless outlaw, others a folk hero. But in the end, Capone was a man who played the game to win, until the game caught up with him. His story is a warning. Even the mightiest can fall, and sometimes it's not the bullets that bring you down, it's the books.